Blessings and welcome to the Ascension Alchemists podcast. Welcoming all of you to another amazing episode in this early start of 2026. It's your hostess, Reverend HoniB, and I'm delighted to share my solo episode with you beautiful community that is determined, devoted, disciplined, fully committed to embody that eternal light presence. We are a community that has remembered who we are, and this is our walk in these beautiful human bodies, these garments, for us to walk that eternal presence, that Christ light, and what's it like to actually bring it into our everyday life, everyday situations, all that we meet. And certainly I know I'm not the only one that meets all sorts of, let's say, how do I want to put this into words? Let's just say range of diversity, which is part of the human experience. So let's get into it. Today, I want to go over a couple of things. One, I like to go over the attention these beautiful monks are getting that are journeying in this walk of peace as they are on their way to Washington, D.C. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about a little bit about not what's going on in Iran. However, I do want to address from this place as someone who was originated in that side of the world, and there are a few things that is sitting in my heart to speak from, because tomorrow we will have a free global prayer circle around it. So I'll speak on that. And I also want to speak about this true nature of resiliency. And what does it really mean to be resilient in the spirit of God Almighty? So these are the things that I want to cover today, and I welcome all of you in being here with me. And as always, I really enjoy having you share your comment. If you really enjoyed the episode, leave a little review, leave a little note. Let me know what did you really enjoy? What was your takeaway? What did it do for you? Just so that I know what that was, as podcasting is quite a different experience than YouTube and Instagram and all those other things. So let's take a sit back and I'm going to get started. Regarding the monks, let me start talking about the monks. I don't know about you all, but I have been watching the monks take this journey from Texas to Washington, D.C. And I typically don't watch news. I shouldn't even say typically, because I just don't, period. Through social media, the monks did grasp my attention because there is something that I've always desired. I have had this fantasy with Michael to do a pilgrimage walk from Washington, D.C. to cross country. And I've toyed often with this quite a bit. And Michael's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes, I just feel this calling. I want to do this." So when I saw the monks do this amazing journey a couple months ago, and now it's gotten a lot of attention, it really brought a lot of joy to my heart, because it is something that it's like maybe a different part of me would fully take part in that. I would want to just walk 9-10 hours for that purpose. And what an experience that is. Could you just imagine for a moment the dedication and discipline? I'm someone who's very, very disciplined and very dedicated and very devoted. So when I see individuals devoted, dedicated, and they're so exuberant, remarkable, that inspires me even greater. How can I become even greater in my dedication, in my devotion, in the discipline? I really love that. And for me, it is truly a labor of love. It's not because I need to impress anyone. It's not for anybody else. For me, it is that relationship with God Almighty. And from that place, oh my gosh, like the love that I feel. So I was thinking about these beautiful monks and just tearing up in celebration of this devotion for their walk, this devotion for let today be another peaceful day, another day they're going to choose peace in their day. And how beautiful is that? While there is so much chaos happening, including, of course, this revolution that's taking place in Iran, here are these amazing monks taking this journey on the way to DC. And is it a coincidence? Is it really a coincidence? In my heart, it's not. Everything is really related. A lot of times we see something in another country, like let's say Venezuela, what just recently took place, and we see these all separate. Yet on an energy level, it really isn't. None of them are separate from each other, because the consciousness of the humans are all connected to one presence, one essence. However, as they're separated from their source and they've tapped into resources instead, and their light has dimmed, they've taken different paths. As they've taken different paths, they're having different experiences. And through these different experiences, some of it is just not light-hearted, let's say, or light-filled. As a result of it, the choices that are made is not reflecting the light of source within. It actually is reflecting the dim light of the outer circumstance and conditions. So the actions are taken from there. And we see that quite a bit on our beautiful earth, where so many souls that are incarnated in these bodies, they are to live from their supreme light, from their source, yet they haven't. And the chaos that has come out of it has come from that. Because obviously, if they're not plugged in, they can't see. So imagine when you're walking at night, it's dark, you can't see very well. Well, that's exactly what it is. That's what happens to individuals in these beautiful forms. So we can't really judge them. I don't know about you. I have come more and more and more into this understanding of not judging individuals, yet really having a deeper understanding of individual from the way they're behaving is a clear indication where they are in their life, whether there's enough light on the inside that they're seeing life through, or the light is really dim or it's really bright, because all the choices come from there. So these beautiful monks, with their radiance, their devotion, their commitment, the ease, as they walk, they have been able to illuminate so many hearts from all walks of life. Doesn't matter race, culture, religion, how incredible it is. All these people are touched, and now it's picked up momentum. And by the time they get to DC, apparently around February 12th, they get here, there is this, it's like compacting effect of how instrumental their walk is, and how needed, how much it is needed to allow that peace. Because if you really look at it, I believe that peace is our natural state. Peace only comes from God Almighty when we're connected to that place where we're not doing life on our own. God Almighty is with us. We've included God Almighty into our lives. Our life is easier. Does not mean we're not going to have challenge. We're certainly going to have still challenge. However, it is easier because we have this supreme strength that is working with us and handling a lot of these bigger challenges, so we don't have to carry it. For me, when I discovered this, it was such a revelation because I took on so much of life on my own and exhausted and tired and worn out, and nervous system, hormones, everything being so dysregulated, and of course then seeing life from the lens of judgment or not enough or all of that, which I believe many of you could relate. And as I shifted that around in myself, I'm not experiencing those experiences anymore. I can still go through difficulty, such as the last 21 days with something that has been quite challenging with the situation that I've been navigating. However, because God Almighty has been included in the process, it is easier. And I trust tomorrow it is finished. God Almighty has completely finished it, and it's a brand new day that I'm walking into with even greater celebration, and how much I have changed as a result of it through this challenging situation. So that's on that, and I'm very grateful to the monks. I wonder if any of you who are the listeners have been able to see them. If you have, please, can you make a note? Can you let me know how that was? It's so beautiful. So beautiful. And what was your experience? It would be great to hear from you. And as I want to sort of take this from this topic, here's this piece, right? And this beautiful expression of peace, which is accessible and available to all of us, which the monks really display that. And speaking of the monks, let me just read this to you really quick. I posted this on my Facebook page, and this is about one of the elder monks, and it said it spoke on several lessons that is part of this 90-year-old monk life lessons that he's mentioned that I want to bring to your awareness. It's a really big, really beautiful one. I'm going to read it for you. It says 12 life lessons from a 90-year-old monk. There were a few of my favorite ones. It says, if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. Walk away. It's a great one. It said, heal so deeply that even your triggers get bored. I love that one. This was a really good one too. Never argue with fools. Spectators can't tell the difference, which is so true. The other one is let go or be dragged. Suffering often begins with attachment, which is very, very true. So beautiful. These are, universal understandings. So from here, I want to bridge this state of peace to where it is really being called to be delivered for the people who are born in the country of my origin, or maybe they weren't born, they migrated out of their parents left there, yet they have family there. So I'd like to just take a moment and speak to that. My father side, they're all Iranians, and my mother, they're Kurdish. And it's been several days, my mother has not had any conversation with her sister, her brother that she talks to every day, her niece, nephews, and all of us are kind of just holding the light. There is a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of anxiousness, there's a lot of triggers that have come up because as a society, the Iranian people are fed up with this level of oppression, suppression, depression, and knowing this is not the truth of who they are. This is not the truth of the heritage of the culture that's over 7,000 year old, where this 40-some-year-old extremist regime has taken over and has suffocated us. I can speak a little bit easier about this now because I have really healed a lot of the traumas around this, especially as a child experiencing the revolution. I was there. I got to experience a lot during that times, and especially the forced way the morality police would treat us that were even in elementary school. I was like third grade, fourth grade, and if our hijab, the head covering, was not being covered enough, the beatings we would get, or we would have to put our feet in a bucket of how you call those animals, insects, cockroaches, and the fears, the awful things that would tear us. It was so bad that it made all of us just very fearful, and it turned our parents totally away from religion. So if you look at a lot of Iranian people, they have turned away, shut off religion. So my family currently, and especially I just want to take a moment to so many of you that have checked in, have messaged me asking how we are, how's our family. I just really, really, really appreciate it so much. And the only update I have for you is that we have no update. So I found myself in this moment to be so strong in the vision of the light, of the freedom, in declaring the freedom of the people of Iran, because that revelation has taken place. There is a revolution, and it takes the people to stand up, to say no more. And although over the last few years, several times this has taken place, what is very interesting this time, there are a lot of other nations that are coming to stand with Iran, especially over the suppression of its people, particularly the women. So what's so amazing is the level. It's like the first time the Iranian people don't feel alone. It's like there are other people that are coming to stand up with us to say this is not right. We need assistance. It needs to end, because all of us have the desire to go back and visit that beautiful country. But there's so much that the civilization of Persia has contributed to the world. So many of you beautiful listeners already are aware. Some don't know. For example, roses came from Iran. Music, we have the art, the mathematics. There's so many things that were contributed. It's a very enriched culture, and it's all around art and beauty, poetry, just so much elegance and beauty. Yet it's been so fabricated with it's almost like this darkness through the extremist regime of religion that has completely missed God. What's interesting is that there's so many people that are of an Islamic religion, let's say they're practicing that, but they don't agree also with this level of, I don't honestly know what to call it. So what I wanted to share was, as I've been sitting with God Almighty and welcoming God Almighty into my vision, into my thoughts, into my emotions, I've been able to notice my system's very regulated, very grounded, because on the inside, I truly believe this is the end of this level of operating in suppression, in suppressing the people. And I want to say this because it's really not about now. It's about many, 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 many times that this country of Iran, which was former Persia, that was invaded. So there's this lack of trust that has taken place in the psyche of individuals from generation to generation to generation. And it's taken these younger generation of this now, all these beautiful bright souls that have incarnated in that country, so that way through their brightness, their supreme light, they can truly resurrect and stand. So the way I'm seeing that pure eternal light Christ rising as a resurrection in so many of the people. And that ignition has ignited many other flames around the world. So there's a lot of youth standing in many other countries. So unfortunately, there's a lot of casualty around this, which is part of the experience. Yes, it's so difficult to be able to actually consume that. However, when we can give ourselves permission to stand in the purpose of this eternal light that is shining so bright out of Iran, so that all these other nations, through their light, they're also connecting as this stream of profound light all over the world in this unity of saying no. And then here we have these monks taking a walk, and it's like this peace. They're all somehow coming together. Do I believe in my heart that there is a permanent change? I absolutely believe it. Do I have faith? Do I have trust that the current people that had been in charge, again, I'm going to say had been, they're on their way out? Absolutely, because their place is no longer being sustained by the light of the planet. Do I believe there is the opportunity that I can take my children, Michael, to Iran so we can experience this gorgeous country with everything that it offers? Absolutely. I'm so excited about that. Can I reunite back with my family after all these years? Yes, absolutely. Would a lot of good come out of this? Absolutely. So it is from this lens that I am being, how do I want to say this? Like, I'm being so supported through the lens of God Almighty that is giving me this easeful, peaceful state to see through. So I'm seeing through my heart, I'm seeing through my soul, I'm seeing through my spirit, I'm seeing through my bodies. And it's beautiful, the sight that I'm choosing because it is a choice. In order for it to come, it does require many of us who are willing to see through the lens of divinity. So that's why tomorrow, which is Monday, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to lead a global prayer meditation and circle, and everybody can join. And you just have to email me at info@ascensionalchemist.com so you can take part or watch the replay after you participate. Participate through your lens of clarity. Your lens of Christ only sees beauty. Your lens of Christ is very peaceful, is in trust, is not getting caught in other things. And it requires vision holders to come and stand in agreement of that vision. So that's my call out, that I'm being called out for any of you that are willing to stand in this. Come and stand in agreement of that vision, of that light. The purest Christ light is pure. It only emanates love. It cannot judge. And that's that call. So today I saw my cousin as we picked up my brother from the airport, and she's gone to the demonstrations. And you know, there's so many that are hurting around this. Yet I want to say this option also exists. Option like this exists when we can lean on God Almighty to do the heavy lifting. So we don't have to experience being lonely and feeling helpless. There's always option, and God Almighty knows best, for sure. So that's what I wanted to speak about regarding that part, and I'm so grateful for those of you that would want to take part, and for those of you that are sharing, for those of you that are holding the vision, for those of you that are caring, bringing the awareness. Thank you so much, because you are part of that change, and it is deeply valued and appreciated. And finally, the last part that I want to talk about is resiliency, which ties to all of this. The monks being super resilient, the people who are standing up to the government of Iran, the regime, very resilient. And the true essence of resiliency is so incredible. We can be resilient from not giving up. This is really beautiful. Yet when our passion, the deep truth of our soul's fire is so high, the resiliency becomes a no option. It just is, as a state of truth. And that's a very different operating system. And I am sure many of you listeners, there have been times where you have displayed the most remarkable, resilient expression because something touched you at such a core, and there was no option. There was only one way, and that was the deliverance until it becomes. And the gift of resiliency is really incredible. You do get bumped around for sure, but when we really allow, again, when we allow God Almighty to work through us, wow, what an experience resiliency is. Wow. It certainly raises the confidence in individual, for sure. Yet the confidence I have found it comes from that deep trust that I know where my Redeemer lives. And I certainly do know that, as I know so many of you know that. And it's so beautiful being in that knowing and being in that clarity, because no one can take that away. And that is such a wonderful gift. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I would be very curious where in your life you found yourself so resilient. And who did you become? And what did you become? And how did your life change? And who truly benefited from your resiliency? Leave me some notes. I would love to read about it. So as I wrap up tonight, I want to give so much gratitude to this moment. I really want to thank God Almighty for holding me so much in palm of its hand, where I've felt so safe, so secure, so calm these past couple of weeks, with everything taking place in the country of my origin and family going through a lot, and also on a personal level, all these challenges. Yet my system has been so easy, and I'm so grateful. And it works. It certainly works. And I'm so grateful for the generosity of God Almighty to giving strength to the people of Iran right now for standing in their truth, and to the families and to all the people around all other countries that are unifying to standing in just one voice, that no, it is just not right. That's it. People deserve to be in freedom. And what a beautiful thing, because true freedom does come from God Almighty. And as people stand taller, they do claim it. And once they claim it, it becomes. And I give so much gratitude to that. And so much gratitude to these beautiful monks for taking this journey and being part of the inspiration of lightness and ease and peacefulness. So much beauty taking place simultaneously on earth, and I'm so grateful. And I'm going to leave you with an announcement that this week on Thursday, Michael starts his monthly free masculine circle. This is the Conscious Men Circle that starts in the evening. All of you beautiful men are welcome to join his circle, where he inspires, uplifts, helps, supports, so you all can be together. Be sure to email him at info@ascensionalchemists.com and join hands with him. Community is everything. And for those of you who are not part of our private community, always welcoming you to be inside our community, where you're really supported with God Almighty. So many of you listeners are already part of it, where you just feel so held in the presence of God Almighty. You can allow it more as we walk together in that, and just held in greater trust and greater faith, so that we can walk this embodiment. And how beautiful that is. And finally, not this week, next week, Michael and I are so excited to kickstart our monthly prosperous living, which I believe is so important for individuals to understand what true prosperity actually is and how to live from it, how to really live prosperously, to allow it and to experience the life and to share the life from that place, which all comes from God Almighty. That is open to the public. You can all come. It is on a Wednesday, the 28th at 2 p.m. If you can't join us live, you can certainly receive the replay. You do have to register for it. For public, it is $188. And for those of you who are inside our Ascension Alchemy Association, you know that as well. So some of you are part of it. The rest of you can sign up for it as well. And we look very much forward in sharing all of these beautiful blessings as this invitation that comes from the heart of God to our hearts, and we put it out, and it is up to each of you to answer it and walk through the door so you can see what awaits on the other side for you. Have the most beautiful, blessed week. God bless you. Thank you for being resilient. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be with you tonight. Much love, and hopefully I will see you on a global call tomorrow. Thank you so much. See you next time.